Okay, Chris, we are live on Facebook right now. So, good afternoon, Facebook, and welcome to another segment of Home Ownership Changed My Life. I am Stephanie Milburn. I am the campaign manager for Housed in the Car. And today we have a special guest. He is also a realtor and known in his area as the Millennial Agent. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris Weston to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself as he hails from Kansas City, Missouri. So, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, ma'am. Like you said, I am grew up here in Kansas City, so I have to start by saying go Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, as we all know. So it's been a good time out here in Kansas City celebrating that throughout everything. But a little bit about me. I was actually born in Oakland, California, and I moved here when I was 5 years old to Kansas City with my mom and been here ever since. I am now 31 years old. I'm the father of a 2-year-old son, and he's really my motivation and the drive behind a lot of the things that I do. But I've always wanted to be a homeowner. I've always been interested in real estate since a very young age. My grandfather actually owned apartment complexes, and I used to hear stories about it, and I was always intrigued about it. So it's kind of something that's in my blood, but I never really took that leap until here recently, and it's been a good leap.
Awesome. So tell us how old you are.
I am 31 years old. I just turned 31 April 7th.
Okay, so you had to do a quarantine style birthday.
Yeah, we we did. We had to stay inside, but yeah, we definitely enjoyed it. I'm kind of an introvert and a homebody myself, so I enjoyed it at home. So I didn't really have too many complaints.
That's good. You know what, I'm like that too. However, my birthday is in July. I'm hoping I can do a little bit of a turn
Yeah,
up. So,
right. We had to limit it to 10. There was only 10 people allowed in the house, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I understand. I understand. So, Chris, tell us how you got into this journey. I know you sent me your bio, and it's an amazing story, and I just do not even feel right telling your story. So I would love for you to share, your journey to home ownership. I know that you did mention that you purchased your first home when you were 27 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell the audience, how that journey began.
Well, like I said, it kind of always has been something that I wanted to do. The fire under me kind of probably was lit after I experienced a hardship with my mom losing her house. Actually, the childhood home that I grew up in, she had an adjustable rate mortgage, and things went crazy, and kind of around the time of the Great Recession. So she actually lost her home, and experiencing that as a young adult or actually a child at that time really put an impact on me, and it really pushed me to make sure that I would not fall into that same trap, or just make sure that I was knowledgeable, because of course she purchased her home. It was a great accomplishment that she purchased her home, but some predatory lending and things like that was going on at that time, she wasn't fully knowledgeable. So that's what kind of pushed me into real estate. Before I got my license, I probably studied about 3-4 years just studying everything there is to know about lending and mortgages and whatever there could be known about real estate before jumping into that. That's kind of a gift and a curse of mine. I'm kind of a one who does a little bit more and goes the extra mile before I make a decision. And sometimes it causes me to procrastinate, which I'm growing to learn and take more action upon that. But nonetheless, I just did my research and made sure that I knew everything that I needed to know to make sure that I wouldn't lose my home to foreclosure or to anything. So that really pushed me into real estate and just studying and studying, and then once I purchased my first home, me and my wife, actually, I've been married for two and a half years, be 3 years in July. And we purchased our first home in 2016. We wanted to make sure that we had a stable house for my son. We wanted to have children and had big dreams. And the main thing I wanted to make sure I knew, and my mom always told me, was to make sure that you have a house for your son, somewhere that he can call home. So the stability of a home is the main reason why I love being a homeowner. Not to mention so many other perks But that's just a little bit of my bio, not to go too much in depth, but the fire in me urges from seeing my mom lose hers at an early age, and just wanting to make sure that I set my son up for success.
I love that you said that because some of our research, when we talk to some millennials and they have seen their parents or family members go through the same thing, that kind of scares them
It
and it
did.
hinders them. Yeah, it hinders them from moving forward into
Right.
purchasing a house. And so I love the fact that you use that as your motivation, so that won't happen to you. And the word stability is very important because we know that especially during these times when we have this stay-at-home order in different states,
Right.
it is imperative that you have your own home to go to, and it's really important to have that stability just to get through these times, and
Right.
and still be comfortable and feel safe at home. So that whole
Yeah.
stability thing, that is very important. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that portion of your story. Now
Yes,
tell me
ma'am.
about this millennial agent thing you got going on.
Well, I just have a passion for just empowering our young people, definitely in our inner city environments, and in places where you didn't learn about real estate growing up, you didn't know about credit, you didn't know about it's just so many things we didn't know about financially. So I've kind of just focused on. I've heard that millennial word thrown around, so it's like, hey, I will embrace it and take on that role and help as many of us as I can to get knowledge. I'm a knowledge. I love knowledge. I love teaching people. I feel like that's kind of my purpose here is kind of to be an example for people and to give that knowledge. A lot of my things are free resources. I tell all my buyers, hey, I'm a free resource to you. Ask me anything that you could possibly want. So I go above and beyond for all my clients. The majority of my clients have been millennials, so that's kind of how I got that tagline. And it's more than just the transaction for me. It's the relationships that are built. I had an investor client that recently purchased a fourplex, and he's able to pay his mortgage off with his tenant's rent, and just doing things like that. We learned along the way, and him being a millennial as well, we empowered each other, and then we're spreading that amongst our peers and just trying to build it as big as we can. So my thing is just being a resource and being a friendly go-to person that has made sure that I've done my due diligence, so that I'm not giving you any bad information as an agent. So that's my passion is our young people. But I definitely don't stray away from
Don't
any. I've
discriminate.
helped, yeah, I've helped elderly people. I've helped people
Elderly, wait,
with
wait, wait. What is elderly? What age is elderly? Because I'm 40 years old. I hope I'm not considered elderly.
oh, no, 40 is the new 30, right? So you're okay. But no,
No, I love your passion. I love your passion to help others. I love your passion to give them that knowledge, and so that steers them in the right direction. Um, Tell everybody how long you've been a realtor.
a realtist, part of NARAB, or
Yes.
because I know we use the realtist tag. I kind of I got in trouble a few times at a few NARAB meetings and saying, I'm a realtor, and they're like, no, you're a realtist. I was like, I don't know which one am I? But I've actually been a licensed realtor in Missouri for the last 3 years. Well, coming on 3 years, it'll be 3 years this year, and I've been a member of NARAB for the last year.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we definitely thank you for being a member and a part of this movement. So tell me in your own words, what does house then the car mean to you in relation to how you educate your millennial buyers?
It's just the investment. What type of investment you're making. I was always taught growing up, purchasing a new car, driving it right off the lot, it depreciates right away. And if you look at a home, for example, I'll take me for example. When I purchased my home, I was able to purchase it below market value, and it continued to increase and appreciate over the last 3 years. So right as I entered my house, I had instant equity. Versus a car, right as you drive off of the lot, you have instant depreciation. So I kind of explain it like that. I kind of paint that picture, because we do want to get the car. We want to keep up with Joneses sometimes. And me, I've had the same car for the last 10 years, believe it or not. I got it paid off. I did purchase it, and made payments, but I paid it off, and I didn't decide to buy a brand new one. And now I'm driving in a paid off car. I don't have a mortgage. So, I wanted a car early as a young age. I would have made a different decision and save it until I purchased my home first. But you learn from your mistakes. There's no losses in life, only lessons. So I use that as a story for me to empower all my millennials as well. I mean, you drive off the lot, you can't do anything, and later on you can't borrow against that car. If I want to borrow against my home right now, I have equity in it right now. Well, with the times it may be a little tough, but I have the option to borrow against that. And if emergency comes up, I can borrow against my home. If emergency comes up, you may be able to borrow against your car, but more times than not, it's depreciating and not
Right.
increasing value. So
Absolutely. And the concept of house in the car does not necessarily mean we don't want you to buy a car. We know you have to get around, but don't put yourself in a position where you're spending 7, 8, nine
right,
hundred dollars a month on a car where that
mhm,
will hurt your debt to income ratio. So I
right,
love the fact that you said you drove your car for 10 years. I mean, I'm a person like that too. I drove the same car for 15 years. So
yeah,
I'm not about that paying a car note life.
no, no,
So, and that was one of the things that assisted me in my third home purchase in 2013. I didn't have any car payments, and so my debt to income ratio was right on point, even with my student loans. So that could
there you
be
go.
a hindrance to somebody if they have student loans coupled with other large debts. So even with my student loans, I was still able to purchase my home and not have any issues with my lenders. So I love the fact that you do educate your buyers. And so do you host any home buyer education classes?
I'm that is a huge goal on my calendar for this year. I've actually just joined into Walls Real Estate. Actually, or my broker is actually the vice president of our region, Terrell Walls, a member of NARAB.
Okay.
And he hosts a lot of those. He in his brokerage, he's hosted a lot of those over the last year, and he has a plan to continue those. So I plan to partner with him and step right in and continue to go forth with those. I've kind of taken on a few of the leadership roles within there, and starting to empower our agents as well, so that we can be in the community and be around them people, and host free home buyer workshops where you can meet with a lender on the spot and see, because most people don't even know if they can qualify, and all it takes is a quick look, or just a talk with a lender and say, hey, if you just pay this down maybe a little bit, maybe you could qualify. So I knowledge is
Exactly.
power. That's my main thing. So yeah, free home buyer workshops, clinics, all that. I love to do things like that in the community.
Awesome, awesome. So you are so right. Knowledge is definitely power, and that is one of our goals with our segments. So home ownership changed my life is, testimonials that we would like to present to our viewers that are watching, to other millennial buyers, to any type of buyer who is
Mhm.
in the market to purchase or on the fence. If you have questions, we love to hear from our past buyers and share their testimonies, because when you have a personal testimony, that's it's golden. People
Yeah.
really connect with that, and I use that a lot of times too in my business. When I'm connecting with my buyers, I let them know, hey, okay, in 2005 I was doing this, in 2013 I did this, in 2000 15. So every time I've had my own personal testimony, I do like to share that with my clients, because it's easier to assist someone when you've already been through this same journey.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And to piggyback off that, that's one of the reasons why this year I purchased my first investment property, because I had been working with a lot of investors, and I felt that I needed to have my foot in the game as well. If I was going to be an agent that was representing them, I should know any of the terms that come along with investing and things like that. So I began to dive real deep into learning more about investing, as well as that too, as well as being a realtor. So that has increase my knowledge, so that allows me to help them along that path, because hey, I've been in your shoes as well, so I can speak to that and be transparent for you.
Absolutely. And transparency is very important because whenever you're dealing with a large purchase, such as a home, any type of investment property, people want to know, where they stand, and they don't want to, have anything sugar coated. They don't want any blindfolds on. So it's very important to be transparent. Um, Another thing in our research, a lot of millennials want to get into that investment arena. So what are
Mhm.
you doing to reach out or attract more millennial buyers and direct them to the investment properties, like you said, the multi-unit homes?
Just kind of being a testimonial myself. With I'm pretty active on the social media. Talking about my previous clients, and I plan to be a lot more active now. But just giving them the resources needed. I was previously with a different brokerage that had a great book on investing that I gave to all of my clients among closing. So I'm always giving out free resources. My email blast is always filled with resources and different things about my lender puts together really nice graphics for like renting versus buying and kind of debunking a lot of myths and things like that. So I like to use a lot of visual aids to kind of show the millennials what they could be paying with rent versus paying a mortgage. So that's one thing that I look at a lot with that, and that's just on the ownership end. But investing, like I said, I've just gotten started with that, and I've just been, like I said, just been doing the due diligence myself, just getting out there, getting in the game myself, going to meetups and marketing myself just as the knowledge agent and just giving that information free of charge, to whoever will listen.
I love it. I love it. So how has the social media helped you? Because we do know that millennials are all over social media. So how has the social media marketing helped you?
Well, to be honest, I'm starting to figure it out a lot more. There's a lot of algorithms and things like that you have to get on top of. Understanding that video works a lot more than just photos and different
Mhm.
things that you have to focus on. So honestly, I'm getting the hang of it. But doing my business planning, one thing that I really focus on is treating it like a business. So I've been planning out my marketing, and I have certain marketing dollars that I put aside. So now I'm just doing a lot of analyzing where I'm getting my leads from now to really put my finger on where exactly to keep my marketing at. So to answer your question, I haven't really got it fully, and I'll be transparent on that. But as a business owner, you kind of always kind of changing and studying and analyzing yourself to be better. So I plan to do a whole lot more marketing on social media this year, and that's been a high focus of me and my business.
Chris, you're definitely on the right track as far as just being a millennial buyer, a millennial investor, a millennial agent. So you're doing all the right things, and it sounds like, any buyer that is in the Kansas City area is going to be, happy to work with you. So I definitely appreciate you joining us today. Do you have any advice for our millennials that are listening?
One thing that I probably would say is that I hear a lot of millennials looking for, zero down, or not paying anything to get into a house. And I would like to say that's not really realistic. I mean, you could look at zero down payments, but you're going to have closing costs. You're going to have, not to mention, when you get into a house, I would say to have at least 3 to 6 months of savings just in case the what if that could happen. So to go into a house thinking that you can go into it with no money at all, I would stray away from that thinking as a millennial and just make sure that you're extra focused. If you don't need a down payment, still save a few extra $1,000 just in case. Because there's so many what ifs, there's so many things of ownership in the house. You can't call a landlord anymore. You're gonna have to take care of it yourself. You usually will have a good home warranty if you work with a good agent, but like I said, just plan accordingly, and budgeting is real important. If a client doesn't necessarily have a good budget in place, I would kind of lead them to work on the budgeting end of it first before just jumping into something if it's a $0 down payment. So that would be my little tad bit there.
Yeah, that's some great advice. And because you are one of our Realtist members, why don't you tell the audience how they can reach you? So if we have someone that's viewing or listening in the Kansas City, Missouri area, they'll be able to reach out to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My direct phone number is 816-301-0396. and I can be reached at my email address. It is Inspire Real Estate. That's INSPIRE Real Estate KC at gmail.com. And I can also be located on Facebook and Instagram as Chris Weston Real Estate. That's WESTON in real estate on all social media platforms. And yeah, you'll probably, if you're in the area, you'll probably see me at any of our meetups and any local events.
I love it. I love it. Chris, thank you so much for joining Home Ownership Changed My Life. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being a part of NAREB, NAREB, and thank you for being a realtor. Thank you for your service. We appreciate the knowledge that you are putting out there, and share with your clients. House in the Car. Our website has an interactive online budget. So if your clients are interested in getting their budgeting together, if you're preparing them for home ownership, we do have an online interactive budget. Also, we have our FICO score estimator located on our House in the Car website. So if we have tools and resources available for you also to share with your millennial clients or any of your clients. So get out there, keep on with the realty spirit. So we definitely thank you, and we appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I wish you guys all the luck in your business, and stay safe.
Thank you. Likewise. And guys, tune in. We will be back next week for Home Ownership Changed My Life next Wednesday. And we'll also have, I don't think we're having Super Series Tuesday next Tuesday. However, we will be back next Wednesday for Home Ownership Changed My Life. Thank you.
Thank you.